Hi guys, so I just want to start by apologising if my voice sounds weird or croaky or phlegmy or whatever. I've had the lurgy for the past couple of days and feel absolutely as rough as anything. But as you can see, that's not stopped me from working on my board. Yeah, it's coming along a treat. Absolutely love how this thing's looked. And yeah, I've played a couple of games, just skirmish games so far on this board. But I am sort of 3D printing and making all the bits and pieces to start doing some of the scenarios out of, well, the awesome game that is Pillage. So, say, I played two games so far. Absolutely love it, which is great because obviously I've spent a lot of time making stuff, but obviously really enjoyed the making of the stuff. So armies wise, yeah, the first ones I did was some Vikings, just because, well, they're Vikings, and you can have someone doing some pillaging, it's going to be the Vikings. I have also just painted up the Saxons. I say just, it was a good week or two ago. That video of me painting the Saxons should have come out before this video, but as I say, I felt as rough as a badger's butt. So yeah, that one's kind of been put back a bit, which is a shame because some of the bits in that one refer to this one. So I'm going to ignore those bits in this video. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. So I painted the Saxons. I was challenged to paint them in under 2 hours. Did I do it? Well, video coming up soon showing how. So obviously, I want more Vikings. So good old My Mini Factory, Asgard Rising. I'll leave links down below as always, guys. But as you can see, yeah, if you're into Vikings, absolutely ton of awesome looking ones. These are reasonably modular, so you can sort of swap out some of the weapons and put in shields, just so you can make the warband up that you require. But what I love about these Vikings, as you can see, those that aren't wearing sort of chain mail, yeah, they got their muscles out on display, which I think looks really, really cool. Especially on the board, seeing these guys just sort of wielding an axe and maybe a shield. So those that have obviously two weapons, I've not given them the two weapons, I've given them a weapon and a sword, a shield even, sorry. But yeah, love how they look. So, no surprises as to which printer I'm printing on. Yeah, it's been my workhorse for the past, well, it's been workhorse for a good sort of 6 months, but more so in the last 4 weeks where I've gone absolutely pillage mad. And yeah, I've made so much terrain, as well as obviously printing out extra miniatures, just so I can get my war bands bigger, because who doesn't want, well, more men to chuck into a fight? Yeah, as they say, more the merrier. So this machine, awesome. It's been working, like I say, it's just been going and going and going. I should have looked up how many hours this has actually been printing, say, especially in the last 4 weeks, because it is going nearly non-stop. Because a whole variety of obviously terrain, small bits, bits I've seen in the last video, bits of pillage. So we need some of those, as well as trees and all kinds of stuff, really. So obviously printed out a lot here. So guys, again, usual thing. Don't start going, oh, he's not wearing gloves. Yeah, I'm not wearing gloves because I'm not intending to touch any of the resin. Because unlike other machines, this one's got these lovely flappy paddles at the side. All I need to do is flick them up and down, and all the miniatures fall off. So that's why I wasn't wearing gloves. As you can see now, I am wearing gloves because I am touching the miniatures. So these have been in the wash. And then typically with small miniatures like this, I like to put them in some warm water to help soften up the supports. But as you can see, yeah, there's a lot of steam coming off this water. Yeah, it was a bit hotter than I normally do it. But by then it was kind of too late. The miniatures were in, so it's just like, let's just quickly get them out. But yeah, this this is actually hot water. Yeah, I don't typically put them in hot water because they obviously it can sort of bend the actual miniatures themselves, or especially any weapons or whatever. But luckily, yeah, nothing seemed to really happen. But say, love the Vikings without the shirts. I just think they are awesome. And if I was any decent painter, I would have painted some tattoos on them. I'm not a decent painter. I'm an average painter, and that's only because of speed paints. Yes, so the thing that I was going to mention in the other video is these trays that I'm using to hold the miniature paint handles. These have improved my batch painting no end. But say the other video, I go in and or will go in rather edit it and show and talk more about these trays. So I'm not going to say anything now. You'll have to wait and watch the other video to see why these trays help out so much. And I say, yeah, I did 32 miniatures, and the challenge was to do them in under 2 hours. Yeah. Anyway, that's the other video, so you'll stick around for that one. So batch painting, as always, yeah, it's a great way to paint. If you've got lots of miniatures to do, and you've got a good few hours, then this is the ideal way to get your grey miniatures tabletop ready. Say these ain't never going to win any sort of competition for painting, but tabletop ready, yeah, they definitely are that. So batch painting, whatever colour you pick up, you do that to, well, all the miniatures that have that colour in them. So typically I like to start with colours that I know they're all going to have. So they're all going to have a bit of flesh, they're all going to have some silver. Then I typically go onto a brown, maybe that does like their leather straps or their boots. Then I sometimes do the painting of the ground, because the ground's always going to be the same. We'll get the little tufts of dirt and all that afterwards. But yeah, I say it just makes things so much easier because you're not having to clean your brush or mess about changing the paints individually for each and every miniature. And this way, so you get into a little production line really, but it does make the whole painting say so much quicker. Unless obviously you want to sort of sit and spend however long doing a miniature, then great. And that's where, say, painting, we are all very different. We all want different things out of the painting. Say I enjoy it to the extent it makes miniatures look amazing, and obviously so much better than a grey sort of plastic looking thing. To have them painted, yeah, they just look awesome on the table. Especially when obviously you go to so much time and effort making the table look really good. I say with me, whenever I do make sort of board games, although this is the first sort of tabletop board I've ever made, I have 3D printed sort of like dungeon floors and that kind of stuff. But it's the first time I've made a full-on sort of table, and I'm absolutely loving it. Love how it's come out. There's still lots more I want to make and do, but yeah, I think it's absolutely fantastic. So we're going to do the shield transfers. Obviously, you get some awesome transfers from Victrix. Is it big, little man, whatever it is? So my brain's turned to mush. But I fancied having a go at sort of printing my own. So right, I talk about these shield transfers in another video, because there's another video where I was going to do the Viking ship. Again, that should have probably have come out by now, but it hasn't. All these shield designs are royalty free. So before anyone goes, oh, if you get anything online, you've got to pay royalties, blah, 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 blah. These are from a royalty free site. I'm going to leave the link in the video where I talk more about it, which will be the video that I show, doing the Viking ship. I say, guys, if you are new to the channel, I'm generally working on about 3-4 projects at a time. And this is just because I love what I do. This is a hobby for me. As much as I do YouTube full time, it is still a hobby. I do what I want to do, even though I am sort of sponsored in quite a few videos, or companies send me stuff to use. As always, I'm never told what to sort of say in any of the videos. They literally send me stuff and say, yeah, use this, and leave links. So guys, links in the description to pretty much everything I use. So these transfers, say printed out on obviously special paper, but they are printed out on my normal inkjet printer. And whilst I'll say these aren't too bad, are they as good as the Victrix ones? No, probably not. So they don't come out too bad, but if you want some real decent ones, yeah, get the Victrix ones. Little Big Man Studios, that might be it. Again, guys, honestly, I felt as rough as anything. I've been in bed for the past 2 days, but my brain still hasn't quite engaged. But I needed to get a video out. So yeah, that's why I'm here and I'm waffling with a sore throat. Anyway, back to the video. So the transfers, easy to use. Say you just print the things out. You do have to go over them with a clear matte varnish. I didn't the first time, and then when you put them in water, the the ink just dissolves. Yeah, it was quite funny until I watched a video showing how to do it properly. So you put them in. It's that usual thing. it says like 20, 30 seconds and then they're ready to come off. But when you're filming yourself, I wanted to film myself like real time showing it. But when you're waiting 20, 30 seconds and nothing's happening, it just seems forever. So that's why I sped that little bit of footage up, just because I wanted to include the sort of full time in. But yeah, it's crazy. When you do a video, 20, 30 seconds is a long time to watch, well, sort of paint dry. But yeah, they slide off nicely, go on really well. Obviously, the one great thing though about obviously printing your own ones, you can get them exactly whatever size you want, because these shields, these are 3D printed as well. Just so I've got a nice large stock of these shields. Again, there's some of the videos I put out, they're not quite in the right order. So the order that I was going to put them out in, which obviously changed, was the Viking longship. That video I probably, or actual ship I made probably about 3 weeks ago. Pretty much most of it's finished. I just need to edit it together. So that's the video where I first talk about these transfers. Oh yeah, and that's why I did the transfers, because I needed so many shield transfers to go on the shields on the ship. So that's why I printed out my own. Yeah, it is weird that in my head I'm going to do things in a certain order, but then sometimes things happen, like getting poorly, and yeah, things kind of go out the window. I really want to talk more about these the trays that hold the miniature paint holders. But yeah, we'll save that for the other video because I do sort of show them a bit more detail in that one. So yeah, everything's pretty much done. One of the last stages, definitely one of the stages I love doing, and that's putting a wash on. Again, guys, yeah, my thumb there, it's really black because I would have just primed another miniature for, well, another video. As I say, I love what I do. So I do have at least 3, 4, sometimes more projects on the go. So when one thing is drying or 3D printing or whatever, I can then be working, well, on something else. So good old wash. I was going to do it just over, obviously, the skin and the silver, the bits that weren't speed paints. Then I got carried away. I thought, let's try it over everything. I loved how it looked. Speed paints, absolutely love speed paints, as they do really make people who can't paint for toffee, yeah, kind of, it's like a cheat code. You get away with it and you can paint half decent. So yeah, doing the wash even over the speed paints, again, it just helps make them look even better, because obviously it goes into the nooks and crannies. So as well as having the speed paint doing its bit, yeah, a bit of a wash over the top. It just helps everything, ties it all in. And say, absolutely love how these guys have come out. Love the fact that they're very muscular and terrifying looking. And I say, if I was any good at sort of fine painting, I definitely would have done tattoos on these chaps. Could I have sort of printed off some tattoos? I'm not too sure. They would have been absolutely minuscule. I think I'd have had problems getting them off the paper and getting them onto the miniature. I might give it a go. But yeah, that's the one thing that I wish could have been done for these, and that's some good old war paint on them. Yeah, some good old terrifying tattoos. So yeah, last thing, as you can see, is just a little bit of flocking on the base. I like to be able to see sort of a bit of dirt, bit of grass, as it blends in really, really well with, well, the rest of my terrain. And there we go, some more. So actually, I think when I did this, I made sure that I printed off 600 gold points worth of Vikings. As yeah, I've got a game coming up with a mate, and we're going to do, I think it's scenario 4, where the Vikings come along on their longship, and they've got to obviously pillage the town. But there is the cathedral, as you can see in the background there, where there's loot inside as well. So yeah, looking forward to that game, and I'm hopefully playing that in a couple of days' time. So once I've edited this video, I'm going back to bed, and then not coming out till December. No, fingers crossed I'll be fine in a couple of days so I can play that game. But yeah, guys, check out the links down below. Say Halot X1 printer. Whether you're printing miniatures like these, or large terrain pieces, or buildings, or trees, or whatever it is, say check out the videos. Definitely say from the last 4 weeks where I've been printing so much stuff. for this awesome game of Pillage. So yeah, whether it's miniatures or larger bits, the Halot X1 is definitely worth looking at. Yeah, there's Indy, my little cat, although she's getting bigger now. She's about 6 months old. Got her as a kitten, and she does like to investigate and have a little nose around. Luckily, she's not too bad with the miniatures. She doesn't sort of like knock them down or try and eat them. But that's not to say she wouldn't if given the chance. To say the board, yeah, love how the board's coming along. And I have 3D printed so many more bits. Some stone walls, some bushes I've done as well. And I say, just generally lots of buildings and little sort of barrels and bits and pieces. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Again, apologies if my voice has sounded really weird on this. I can't tell at the moment because I feel like my head's in a fishbowl. But hopefully it's not been too bad, not put you off. And yeah, guys, like, share, subscribe if you like what I'm doing. I do cover a whole variety of sort of miniature games and miniature figures. But obviously at the moment, I am absolutely hooked on Pillage, which is why there's lots of that stuff. Another video on the screen, give that a click, see more of what I do. Yeah, like, share, subscribe, leave comments, all that fun stuff. Take care. Bye now.